Hi, welcome to Paradise Lovin' Veggies. I'm Samantha. So rodents in the garden can be a huge problem. And just to kind of give you an example of how invasive they can be, besides obviously eating your plants, I'm going to show you. There is a rather big hole here. I'm gonna move this in between one of my zucchini plants. I'm going to kind of put my hand in there. I don't want to put it too close, but you can see how big that hole is. And I've dealt with rodents in the garden. They don't really bother me too much, but this year was really hard for me growing my dahlias between the big slugs that we have here at the farm, the snails, and then of course these little pesky rodents who apparently love dahlias as much as the slugs do. So my dahlias, I'll show you over here. Here's one of my beautiful dahlias. This is actually my very favorite type of dahlia here. You can see that flower. I just think it's exquisite. And there's a yellow one over here. This one's really awesome. See how big that bloom is there? This whole area actually, I'll show you the zucchinis here. This whole area was supposed to be dahlias, and it didn't quite work out that way. For whatever reason, the tubers didn't all take, and so I ended up with 8 plants total out of about 36, which was really a disappointment, but the ones that I have are growing really great, so definitely want to preserve them and not have them eaten. So normally to deter slugs, I use crushed eggshells, and it works pretty well for me. Apparently you can try coffee grounds, I was recently told, so I'm going to try that next. But here's my other dahlia plants. I don't know what this flower is yet here. It's just kind of starting to come up. You can kind of see the bud right in there. Here's another one of my favorites. Here's another beautiful yellow one. It's so beautiful. Here's another one. I got 4 of my favorites, which was really exciting, even though I was disappointed with the lack of tuber development. I'm really happy that I have 4 plants of my very, very favorite dahlia. There's another one there. And then here is a beautiful plant. This is my favorite other dahlia, because I'm very fickle with my plants. I have a lot of favorites. So when my dahlias were first starting to develop, I put down the eggshells because something was eating them, and eating them pretty bad. And you can see in areas like this right here, this leaf clearly still being eaten by slugs. But there was something else that was eating the dahlias, and I wasn't quite sure, but there was a bunch of little holes around, and I had a feeling it was a rodent. So I kind of came up with this organic solution, and it seemed to have worked really well because obviously the flowers are finally growing. So it's super simple. What I did is I had some peppers, and I took an old coffee grinder that I had got at a garage sale, and I crushed them up. And so that's this here. And then I've got some peppermint plants, so I just cut some stalks, which is easy enough, and then I just took off the leaves. So I have that. So I'm going to use a bigger container here and put some of the leaves into it. Good amount there. And obviously if you're touching the peppers, be careful because they hurt the eyes. I've made this mistake. So I've got that in there now, and I'm just going to put on this lid here and give it a good shake. And you can kind of see in there the peppers blending with the peppermint. And peppers have a thing called capsaicin in them, and so the rodents really don't like them. So what I did is I just sprinkled this solution now, I think you can see in there, just kind of around the base of my plants. And so I'm going to do a little bit more of that today. But we're mainly not too worried about these dahlias now, as they're doing pretty well, but I definitely want to try to hunt out some of these holes over here in my zucchinis, one area of zucchini, that the rodents are kind of getting to. See, there's another stinking hole, if you can see right in there. So I'm gonna put some of this stuff here, pretty heavy. And I'm gonna hope that these little stinkers get the point. They are not welcome in my garden. Here's another hole. Where was it? There it is right there. That's huge. I mean, who wants that in their garden? So I'm gonna sprinkle some more stuff in there. And you can just kind of see there with the peppermint and the pepper, kind of what that looks like. Now here's the bottom of my jug, and it's just purely the pepper, and that's okay. We're just gonna sprinkle that around there. Are there any more holes? I want to find them. These little stinkers, I don't want them eating my zucchini all season. Not really seeing any, of course, because I'm looking for them right now. So I think we're just going to sprinkle the rest of this around these plants over here. Maybe especially around this one that hasn't budded yet. I'll just kind of sprinkle it around the base. And a little bit around. Just kind of sprinkle it around there. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so this stuff works really well, and like I said, it's super easy to make. It's peppermint leaves and some ground up peppers. I would recommend looking at a garage sale for a used coffee grinder that you can use just for herbs, and then of course every time you use it, make sure that you rinse it out. And super simple. So I'll kind of show you a couple other places here in the garden that were very prolific. I'm sorry I didn't film them. This whole area had a bunch of poppies. One of the new flowers to me this year, which is really exciting, is called a straw flower. And I'd never seen them before, or grown them for that matter. And they're really neat. You can kind of hear the crinkly. And these are great for dried flowers. So I need to get on the ball so that I can cut them and then dry them, so that I'll have some flower bouquets for a later date. You may remember all these daisies that I planted earlier in the season, and boy, they're just amazing. They astound me. I'm so happy that I did this in this area. Still have a few areas, kind of right in there, and right over here. I have a little bit of areas that I could use. That's those pots, that's lavender. Little bit of area that I could plant some more of these daisies. I'll just propagate them, but you can see just how gorgeous they are. So I was really happy with them. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. Go ahead and make your rodent deterrent, and you'll have a better garden before you know it. Thanks for watching Paradise and Love and Veggies. I'm Samantha. Have a great day.